Okay.
Good evening, Kim. And Kim is a serving officer and an inaugural first female interviewee, which is great news, Kim. It's good to have you on here tonight, and good to know that you're a serving officer as well, which is unusual for us. We've had about 2 serving officers out of the 20 interviewees so far. So it'd be good to hear your story. You and I had a very quick conflab before we started recording, so it'd be good to hear that again. Kim, you can do it again, rather than me talk. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you're going to be doing in terms of leaving the police.
Right, my name is Kim White. I have an OBE, which I got for my services to policing back in 2012. I got that Queen. I'm a serving police officer with Kent Police, originally joining in 1976 as a police cadet, going into the regulars in 77. I then took what I class as a pregnant pause in my career because I was in fact pregnant. There was no part-time or job share available to me then. So I resigned from the force, was out for 11 years, bringing up 2 children. During that period, Kent Police did in fact write to me to say that they were introducing part-time jobs for women to be able to return to work. Obviously, I was very interested in that. I've always wanted to get my 30 years service in. I said I was interested, and what did it entail? And it was still 13 weeks residential training. So it was like giving it in one hand and taking it back in the other, because when you've got 2 young children, there's no way you can do that. So I remained out of the force for that 11-year period. And eventually, when the children were old enough, both at grammar school, I decided then to rejoin as a part-time officer. But when I got back, I started in the January. I actually got in the October, but they didn't accept me till the January, so that they didn't have to pay me rent allowance.
Oh, goodness.
It abolished on January. So again, I missed out there. So I went back January 96 and was working 4 days a week, and then sort of realised that the job was a lot more family friendly. And so therefore I decided then to go full-time in the October. So I was just sort of part-time for about the 10-month period. And then I went full-time. And when I joined, we just introduced intelligence-led policing. So I was lucky enough to go straight back into the Intel unit at Maidstone. And then I was a source handler. And then I set up the Chief of Staff office at Maidstone as well. There's another role. And then after that, in 2001, our force introduced a Gypsy liaison team. And I was offered a post on there as research development and intel officer. And I accepted that post, and I've been there for the last 17 years.
Wow. So you know that local community very well, then, compared to anybody else?
Yeah, very much so. And I've enjoyed working with them, and I think this is why, as I leave, this is I think everybody's sort of looking at me as if to say, well, are you not going to continue employment, with something like the Gypsy travelling community, or working in diversity, or ethnic minority groups, or anything at all like that? But no, I've really, I've decided, as I've said, that I want to sort of move away and do something completely different, I think.
No, that's good. That's good. Tim. Really long and varied career, even with the pregnant pause, I would say. So,
well, I think I'm the oldest female officer in Kent Police.
Wow. I'd say you're probably the longest serving that we've interviewed, to be honest. We've interviewed some kind of long serving officers as well, but I would suggest probably one of the longest in terms of the year that you started, 76. So it's certainly way before me.
Well, before most people, I think. It's quite weird because I do a lot of training with the officers around diversity, ethnic communities, ethnicity stuff, and normally I say, I first joined the force in 1976, and you can see them all looking at me as if they weren't even born then. And most of them weren't. And it was weird because when I went back, I was working with officers that I used to babysit for because I worked with their dads.
That's incredible.
That's quite weird.
That is incredible. Lots of skills there, Kim, which we'll go into when we ask more questions. And again, you and I had a very quick conversation before we started. So you're going to be leaving in November.
Yep.
This is really interesting, the fact that you've got whatever that is, kind of 9 months to go now. So what preparation are you doing now? I know you mentioned about going to a job after as well. What kind of preparation are you doing now, and what help is Kent giving you, if any?
I'm going on the pre-retirement course, which is
Right.
a 2-day course. Yeah, I've got that booked in for March.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's the middle of March. So I'm due to go on that. Just spoke to some other friends of mine that have just been on one recently, and said to them, is it worth going on? They said, absolutely, got to do it. You must go on it. So so I've got myself booked on that.
Fantastic.
So I want to sort of not explore every avenue, but I want to be advised as to what is the best route to take. I think it's although
I can still hear you. Keep going.
although I had that period of time out of the job, it's still how can I put it? It still hasn't prepared me for retirement, leaving the job altogether, because even during the 11 years that I was out, I did have sort of some close relationships still with the force, with old friends and people like that. Okay. So I think it's going to be a big wrench.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially having been there for a long time, and like you say, built up lots of friendships, camaraderie with the teams, etc. And you've probably seen lots of people pass through and retire as well, no doubt. But in terms of,
I think that's my battery that's just going to run out.
Have you got a charger there?
I've got it plugged in, but it's obviously not charging. Can I just go and grab another charger?
Yeah, of course you can. I'll put it on. We're on pause now. Okay, back with you then, Kim. Again, we're saying that you've got the pre-retirement course in March, and what do you think are the key skills that you've gained in the years of policing that are transferable then to an outside role?
I would in the role that I'm in the moment, at this present moment, it's working on my own. It's working on my own. It's planning my own work. So I'm able to, plan my week. I've got nobody sort of telling me this is where you're going and that's what you're doing. Yes, there are certain jobs that come in or different operations that I'd need to work on. Other than that, as I say, I provide a lot of training around the travelling community. So I travel to forces. I travel all over the country, to various forces. Also, people like CPS, NHS, churches. Anybody really that comes into contact with people from the travelling community and want their staff to know a lot about the culture and to be able to learn about the culture. So anything at all like that I can go around and help other forces with. Planning my own work schedule is one of the things. Working on my own, as I say, is another. Very independent, very well travelled. Been over to Poland to assist with the Roma community around abuse. Not afraid to travel anywhere at all on my own. And I think working with men. Because the majority of my career has been spent working with just men. For a short period of time, I think it's 5 years, we had a female on the team. So I had another female. But as I say, normally just working alongside male colleagues. And that has obviously changed over the years. To now. It's a lot better.
That's good.
So I'm used to the banter. Obviously, I'm used to working with men, and I think that sometimes when you're going outside to work for another organisation, as I say, I have worked with females, but not a lot over the years. So I'm used to working with male colleagues more so. I think also that talking about diversity, I think within the force, we have to be very politically correct. I know people that work for other organisations, and some of the things that they tell me, I'm like, we just would not get away with that in the police. And I think that's going to be a big thing for me when I do go outside of the police and start working outside, that what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable.
Yeah, sure. Different culture.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be, it's going to be, you know, totally different. I'm not afraid to stand up and say what I think, what I'm thinking at that time. I'm not afraid to challenge anybody as well for anything around that sort of thing either. Yeah. So am I going to find it hard when I leave the force? I don't know.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think you will. Listen to, again, I've only been speaking to you for the last 20 minutes, but I don't think you will, because, and this is the same for most police officers, in particular the police staff, we've learned a lot during our careers. And the one thing you haven't touched upon, but you've been saying it all the time, is communication skills. That's what you've obviously got very, very good communication skills. Yeah. So those all those skills that you've mentioned, you know, working on your own initiative, being in other teams, communication.
And that's it. Yeah, I'm a team worker as well. So and I think that, you know, when you're coming to leave the police service, it's like leaving a family. And that's something that I don't think is going to hit me until I've left.
Yeah.
And I know, as I say, it's happened to me before.
Yeah.
When I was 11 years out, but this time it's for good, isn't it?
Yeah. Other thing I mentioned to you, Kim, is the fact that you're working with the Gypsy and the Romany groups, and you're going around different forces. What you're also doing, you probably don't think you're doing it, and lots of PCs in particular don't think they do this, but you've got some fantastic leadership skills, because everybody's looking to you for the answer.
Yeah,
and your expertise. So you've got a subject matter expert here in the room, and think, Kim, what's the answer to this thing?
Yeah.
So there's lots of stuff there in terms of your skills.
And I'm not afraid to stand up and speak. You know, I do lots of presentations, sometimes to 6 people, sometimes to 206 people. You know, and I'm not afraid to do that. It's so I'm quite confident when it comes to things like that. Yeah.
You mentioned at the beginning, before we were on recording, that you were going to. Did you see you got a role lined up in November when you do leave, or?
Well, I've actually applied for a celebrants role, which is like a registrar. Well, it's a celebrant and registrar.
Right.
So, and that's with Kent County Council.
Right.
I haven't received anything back yet because the applications have just closed. And I don't know whether it's something that they'll look at taking me on for yet, because obviously I don't retire until November. So they may decide that, you know, yes, I might be suitable for the job, but not this time around. Yeah. Because it's too early. So I'm just going to wait and see. But I've got a few colleagues that do it. I've been to see them. One who I said, you know, is self-employed. And he prefers that because he says he can pick and choose which ones he does and which ones he doesn't. Yeah. And others that actually work for the council. And they said they're then given the role, you know, the jobs to do, and they'll just go out and do them, and they're full-time. It's full-time role. Yeah. But I do need to work. I can't not work. Yeah. I think that's the same for most of us. And I get you with that one. So in terms of other roles, then have you looked and thought about other roles when you leave in November, as a just in case, as a fallback kind of thing? I've had a lot of people sort of say to me, well, why don't you go self-employed as, you know, training for you know, what I've done in the past. Why don't you do that? But I think I've done it for 17 years. I would like something different. Yeah. And as I say, I'm not averse to standing up and talking out and presenting and things like that. So bar becoming an actress at this ripe old age, which I don't think is ever going to happen. I think, so this celebrant job is something I've looked at. I've not really even, I know I should have done, I suppose, Rob, I should have been thinking ahead quite a while ago as to where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. Yeah. But that's why I'm asking the question. I put it in the back of my mind. Yeah. But you've still got plenty of time. At least you're thinking about it with 9 months. And we've had, like I said to you, they've had about 18 recordings already. Have a look at some of those. Because what we talk about is preparing before you leave. So what can you do in terms of self-development, which is one of my questions here. What could you do while still serving, which Kent Police may or may not fund, that doesn't matter, but it's actually about preparing yourself for maybe 3 or 4 opportunities outside in November. What if the first one doesn't work out?
But if you prepared yourself and got yourself some self-development in whatever area that might be, and I'm not so sure that there's too much you need to do, to be honest with you, Kim, because of the skill sets that you've got. But it is recognising those skill sets and taking them forward outside. I'm sure the potential is for you.
Have many people that I'm interviewing you now?
That's okay. I don't mind.
Have many people on this web, have they gone into things like National Crime Agency and things like that, or are they people that are looking for doing things completely outside?
I'll be honest with you, Kit, we've had an absolute A to Z of where people have gone, including National Crime Agency, including going back into another police force as a witness statement taker. We've literally had everything. So, as I said to you, you could probably quite easily do any of those things. And National Crime Agency, as you know, are geographic. There's the border force. Lots of people go into border force.
Yes, I remember coming back off holiday, and the fella that checked my passport there, he informed, we got chatting, and he said that he was retired police officer, 30 years service, and he was now with border force.
Yeah, a lot of people do it. Yeah. And again, it's that thing about, what do you want to get out of bed for? You don't want to not work. So what's going to make you excited in November onwards, and think about, I actually really enjoy doing whatever it is that I enjoy doing. As I say, on our site, we're as many job alerts as we can do. We'll let people know. Have a look at other people's stories, because they will tell you their story and how they did it. But I still say you can steal a march on lots of other colleagues by the fact that you've got this kind of 9-month period still to go. Loads of opportunity there to look and think, what is it I really need to do then? And
you know what? I haven't even looked on like the website at work, because a little while ago there was a warrants job came up, and I thought, oh, that would really, really suit me. But it was already a civilian role like now, and they were looking for somebody now. And I was thinking to myself, oh, if that had come up in October time, I'd be really jumping at that. And yet since then, I've not gone on there to look. I don't think I can bring myself to actually
let go.
No, I'm going.
You got to let go. You got to let go. And the fact that you've done this interview, Kim, and you can watch yourself in your interview if you want as well. But it is a case of, you've got something, literally visual now that you've recorded, or we've recorded for you. It'll be there. It'll be in the members' site only. It's not for the whole world to see. It's for the members to see. But, and as I say, there's lots of other people on here, and you're just thinking, oh, I never thought of that. And then we can engage with each other. That's the whole point of this. The whole thing about leaving the police is creating this big family of people who have all done policing, who can all help each other post-policing. That's the whole point of it.
I get that.
Together. So don't feel that you're alone, because you're not going to be alone out there. There's lots of us been through the path, along the path, and most people are very happy. I wouldn't say everybody is, that'd be lying, but I'd say most people are very happy with a lot post-policing.
And I always said I would never be one of those officers that starts going, oh yeah, I'm retiring November. Do you know what I mean? But I now think, do you know what? I suppose I am getting to that stage because it's a reality. So you just got to, that's it. I retire in November.
It's coming, but I think the key thing is to have to start the planning now. Really think about what is November, whatever that date is. What does it look?
I can't put it, like you say, Rob. I can't put it off any longer.
No, you can't put it off. And then think about what does 1 year from November look like? What does 3 years from November look like? Now, what does 5 years look like from November? At the end of the day, that's kind of the planning process. I was going to ask you about CV is probably pretty crucial for you at this stage. Then the fact that I doubt you'd have done a CV for anything so far.
No.
So that's something that's crucial, I would say, in terms of, this is becoming more of an advice video now rather than an interview video, which is fine.
Actually, I've got my sister does. She interviews people for work related things. She works at the Home Office, and I've just said to her today, we've just been to a funeral, and I just said to her, I said, oh, I'm going to have to get you to put me a CV together. I am going to have to do that. And obviously I've not been interviewed for I don't know how many years. Just
And it is different, Kim. So that's a thing to think of. All this stuff is on the website, so there's nothing. So you don't have to take notes now or anything like that. But CV is absolutely crucial. Knowing what it is that you want to do is pretty crucial as well. So probably writing a CV differently for going outside than what you would do if you were going for an internal post, for instance.
Yes, yeah, I can see that, because when I went for this KCC job, it was a sort of self-constructed CV on there,
Yeah.
and I got my sister to read it afterwards, and I said, "What do you think?" And she said,
Yeah.
"No, really good." So, but it wasn't, a structured CV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah, I know
just,
what you mean.
filling in the spaces and what I've done. And I mean, the worst part for me was education. What exams have you got? What was your pass marks? I can't even remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember that far back. I mean, that's 40 odd years ago for me.
Nobody tends to look that far back, to be honest with you, Kim. It's more about what have you done. It's not relevance. So what have you done that's relevant probably in the last 3 to 5 years? And it's not necessarily about courses. It's really about, physically, and what have you achieved? So you've obviously dealt with lots of the Gypsy people and the Romanese, all this stuff about visiting other forces. So don't just say I visited other forces. I visited and I did. What is it? Yeah. What employer wants to know is, what did you actually do there? Oh, I led on the subject of. I showed them how to deal with, how to operate, how to converse, how to liaise. That's what you're doing. So it's actually about showing people how to liaise in a liaison type role, and that's what you're good at. So just think about it, or a bit of paper, think, what am I good at?
Yeah.
And I suspect you're good at lots and lots of things. You just haven't had time to sit down and work it all through.
I like meeting people. I like. I am a people watcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wrong with that.
Yeah, I like that. I think there's a lot of coppers that like that. But yeah, I do. So I do like meeting new people, and I like challenges, and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not adverse to stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's some really good stuff there. And again, you may or may not. I think from what we had a conversation at the very beginning, I don't think you use social media from what you were saying.
No, I'm dreadful. In fact, you'll laugh at this, because when I went back into the force in '95, I went back and they said, right, we had to do a typing test.
Yeah.
And put me on this thing, and they said it's exam conditions. There was about 10 of us in this classroom at that time, and they said, right, go, and we had to copy this thing and type. And then I went, oh, stop. I went like that, and so she said, stop the whole thing, what's up? And I said, well, I haven't got any paper coming out the back.
Yeah.
And she said, paper? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm typing away it, but nothing's coming out the back. She said, no, it's on this screen, and it was on a computer in front of me. So that was the first thing. And then the next thing, I pressed a button and everything shot off the screen, and I had to go, stop again, stop this exam again. Yeah. I've lost everything off the screen. And then afterwards, they made me do a test. They put a disc in, and it was questions, and you had to press like A, B, C, or D, multiple choice. And at the end of it, he gave me the disc, and he said, take that home, put it into your computer, go through it a couple of times, go over the ones that you've got wrong. And he sort of looked at me and said, have you got a computer? And I said, well, my son has, because, he just went to the grammar school. And he said, okay, has it got Windows? And I said, well, it's got one screen. And then that's it. He just fell about laughing. And that quote went on the wall in his office for years. And and that was about my extent of working with computers or anything when I went back. But no, my grandchildren teach me how to use the iPad and stuff like that.
No, that's the way you've got to work.
Unfortunately, one of them wasn't here tonight, as you can tell. Yeah.
No, again, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody uses social media. And if you're going to be an employee as opposed to have your own business, there's probably less need for it.
Yeah. Well, when I went to see the fellow that was the self-employed celebrant, he had everything set up on his computer, and he went to me, I've got a spreadsheet for this and a spreadsheet for that. And I'm looking at it thinking, I've got to employ my sister, because that's just not me. So I might be better working for the council.
Yeah. No, plenty of jobs out there. Okay, here's an interesting question then. So, bear in mind, leaving the police is quite a new organisation. We've only been going for probably about a month now in terms of the website and interviewing people, etc. What kind of things would you be looking for if you would go to our website and think, well, how can leaving the police help me then to move to the next phase of my life in November this year? Is it next year, then? This year?
I think financial is a big thing.
Right.
That is a massive thing,
Yeah.
because I have, I've never had to worry about pay, because you get your pay rate and it's the same every month. Do you know what I mean? No, you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to be a bit short this month. Or get a bit of an overtime. Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even if I don't get overtime, your basic pay is enough for you to live on and survive.
Yeah.
So pay is something I've never, had to worry about. Now I'm going to have to start thinking about, need to get the money in. So I think that's the first thing. And so, that's got to be a bit of a motivator as to where you go and what you do.
Yeah.
And job security is another one, because we've always had job security. We've never worried about being made redundant.
Yeah.
So, so that's something else that you look at. I look at things like the NHS, which is on the news all the time.
Yeah.
And you see that, and I'm thinking, how must them people be feeling that, this is closing down or that's closing? The people from Carillion, how people's lives are just wrecked because one day they've got a job and the next day they haven't. So job security is a big thing for me as well. So again, working for someone like the council, you'd like to think that that's going to be secure.
Secure as you can get,
And dare I say it, that if going into something like being a celebrant, you're always going to have funerals. Yeah,
you're always funerals, there's always weddings.
Yeah, so you look at that sort of thing and you think, well, you're always like going into the undertaking business, and you're always going to be needed.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing, at looking at job security, money.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to be able to keep my house and things like that. At the same time, I want to be able to help my children. I don't want them just to benefit, when I'm 6 foot under. I would like them to be able to benefit now, and I can see that benefit. So
you can enjoy it.
Try and be able to help them out as well.
Yeah.
So that's important that I work. I've got grandchildren.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, treat them and things like that. So that's my family is my motivation.
Yeah.
Big time.
Okay.
But obviously I've got to look after myself as well. I understand that.
Yeah, exactly.
Job security and money are the two things that I think I've got that within the police. I've had that for all these years, and I've got to find that again.
Yeah. It's interesting. What I picked up from all that was I got the job security bit, I got the financial bit. I know we're looking at a couple of organisations to be kind of advisors to go on our website. But the one that I picked up, it's the first time anybody's mentioned it, and I always get a first, every interview, I get a first for something. And I wrote down there, will service. Because it's inevitable, we all need, we're all going to go somewhere at the other end, so there's nobody going to be immortal amongst any of us. So will service is something we haven't got as such, but it's something that's actually, because of the age group, we are probably going to be majority are in the 50 plus mark, but not everybody, because some people leave policing after 8 years. But in the main, it's something you have to think about at an early age. It's not just when you're in the 60s, think about it. But that's a really good tip you've just given me, Kim. I don't know if you knew it or not, but I've got it down. I've written it down.
But you're right. I think, and funnily enough, believe it or not, I did have a will written out for me professionally at one time. Paid a lot of money for it, and then that was before I had grandchildren. So when the grandchildren come along, I thought, I've got to now get it all rewritten again and everything. And I thought, why am I paying out to get it done? And I've written my own, and I've done my own, and I've done family members' wills. Again, I've just taken them from the one that was written out for me, and did the alterations and bits and pieces in it, and done it that way. And so. That is something that I think would be.
Definitely worthwhile. Interesting one is what do you think is going to? I think you kind of hinted to me already, Kim, here. But what do you think is the most daunting part of leaving the police then for you? There's lots of daunting bits. But what would you say is the most daunting bit for you then?
Leaving the family,
right?
Leaving my, the colleagues and the people that I've worked with for years and years and years. And I know I've worked with different people along the way. I'm having a massive retirement party, by the way.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So actually, yeah, I think just handing my warrant card over.
Yeah, that's what the majority of people are saying. It's that physical.
Yeah.
My warrant card, I haven't got it anymore.
I mean, I don't wear uniform in my role, so
right.
I say that I do sometimes, depending on, you know, who I'm speaking to or where I'm going.
Yeah,
high days and holidays, perhaps. I went to Cenotaph this year, which was nice, and so yeah, you know, wore my number ones up there, which was good. But I think, yeah, handing the uniform back, all your bits and pieces that you've had for years and years. My really old tatty warrant card holder that's no good to man nor beast because it's by a thread, but I would never get a new one. I mean, the cover to my pocketbook, I know I'm going to be able to keep that because it's one of the old original leather ones from the 1970s. Still got that. So there's lots of things that I'm going to take with me that you can take with you. But the physical, there's my warrant card. Your exit interview. We have an exit interview in Kent. I don't know whether. Good. Yeah, we all have an exit interview with the chief. I know our chief constable very, very well. So I know my exit interview is going to be very emotional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, it definitely will.
Who's your chief, Kim? I know one of your ACC.
Alan Pewsley.
I know it. I didn't realise that was your chief. Wow.
Yeah, he's the ex-Met, but he's, Alan Pewsley's our chief, and our deputy chief is Paul Brandon, who, he is such a lovely man. He set up the team that I'm on, the team I've been 17 years. So he used to be my inspector. He's my deputy chief, but he goes in June. Right. And the chief should have gone this year as well, but he's got a 3-year extension. I've met him a few times. Nice guy, really nice guy. Your chief. Oh, absolute gentleman. Yeah, absolutely lovely man. When I met him, I think he was a chief super, and he was putting the Essex crime and the Kent crime squads together to form the collaboration. That's it, our amalgamation, that was years ago. That's when I last met him. He's a lovely man, and that is going to be an emotional day for me. I know that. Yeah. Well, we've all had them. Just moving on towards near the end of this interview now. What do you think is going to be the most challenging thing for you in terms of looking for a new role then? I know you've got this one thing that you've talked about, obviously there's been 3 or 4, but what do you think is the most challenging bit for you? I think I'm going to be comparing everything with what I've had. Right. And I think that like I say, I've worked for Kent Police all this time. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say policing is better now than it was when I joined, because I don't think it is. Yeah. I've got 2 children that are in their 30s, and I've never wanted either of those to join the police service. Right, okay. So, but I still work for a good organisation. It's a career, the only career I've ever wanted in life, and I think wherever I go, I'm always going to be comparing that to what I've got and what I've had. I know what you mean. And I don't, whether that's good or bad, I don't know. I want standards. No, and I think that's why we're sought after as well, Kim, because we've got standards. We've been brought up on standards for 30 odd years, a lot of us. And, we are professional, we are disciplined, we are honest, we've got integrity, we've got all those things that not everybody has them. No, definitely not. That's why we are sought after. That's why people are looking for you, no matter what age you are. As I said to you earlier on, age isn't a barrier. So you've got all those skills and all those tributes and values that people are looking for. So I don't think that bit of you is daunting at all. And I keep myself physically fit. I'm a netballer, umpire and player. So, I've fitness-wise, or, if it's a sort of physical type of role or whatever, that wouldn't faze me at all. No, I'm this ripe old age, it still wouldn't faze me. But, it is just sort of, standards. No, I get you. No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Absolutely with you.
if I was interviewing you then, 'cause let's just say we're now in November and you've had a couple of weeks in the sunshine and did the warrant card bit, handed.
We're doing that in August.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. So I'm now going to be interviewing you, and it doesn't matter what role I'm interviewing you for. What would you say to me? The question I'm going to ask you is, what is your unique selling point then for me?
What have I got to offer?
Yeah. What have you got to offer me as an employer?
Okay. Right. What I've got to offer is I have held down a good job within Kent Police for all these years. I knew from the day I first joined Kent Police, I would do 30 years, come what may.
Mm-hmm.
I was adamant that that was going to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm loyal. I'm trustworthy. I am, if I'm your friend, I'm a friend for life.
Right.
Be that outside of work or within work as a colleague. I am very family orientated. So I'm not a hard-faced police officer. I am quite an emotional person, really, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And like I say, I would look for very high standards of employment. If I'm going to do something, I want it done properly.
Yeah.
I will see everything through to the end. I would admit to my own mistakes if I make mistakes or that, I err along the way. I would admit to that. I'm not going to say I'm a perfectionist, but I want everything right. I would strive for perfection.
Yeah.
Integrity, honesty, and I just think that if somebody employs me, I would be grateful for that employment. That's the first thing. I'd be really grateful, and I would give them everything I could to fulfill what they expect of me.
Okay.
So
I'd give you the job. Got the job. If I was employing you, Kim, you got the job.
Oh,
right answer. Really good answer. I'll have to get others to watch this so they can practice that. That'd be very good.
I can be smart when I want to dress smart. I can be smart, but if I've got to dress down, I can definitely dress down as well.
Well, you want to get, when you get this recording of this, Kim, you want to take a note of exactly what you just said to me there, because that is a really good answer.
Yeah.
So just
take with me for
and
the
you don't
interviews.
need to learn it because you just.
I'll be writing it all on the back of my hand, Rob.
Yeah. No, actually, the best thing is not to do that because you didn't.
No, I wouldn't. No, I'm only joking.
That was some people will, and then they'll trip up. Honestly, they will. They'll be down like this trying to get the rest of the arm out.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that.
So
I'm not prepared for this interview tonight. I didn't know what you were going to ask me or what it entails. So I'll just go with the flow,
Yeah. No, that's fine, Kim. I didn't know what I was going to ask you either because it's an unusual position for us because you're still serving and actually you've still got 9 months to go. But it's great that this is the case because it's different and other people with about a year to go are thinking, well, actually, I need to be doing some of these things that Kim's going to be doing now. That's the whole point of doing it. Second last one for me then, Kim. If you could visualize success for the future, what would it look like?
Well, I'm bringing out a book.
Brilliant. Like it.
Someone's writing a book for me, which is looking at women police from the 70s through to present day. But looking at various roles that I've had within the police and what I've done over that period of time. Some really funny anecdotes in there, but also some more serious stuff that went on perhaps years ago that wouldn't happen now. So there's little bits and pieces and that in there. So success wise, I think I've not only held down my job for this period of time, I've enjoyed every single day. I can't look back and think I was ever unhappy at work. I've never got up of a morning and not thought, I can't face this, I don't want to go in. I've loved every single day that I've served in the police service, and hopefully for the next 9 months. 9 months sounds awful. And out of that, I've met some lovely people, both in and out of the job. Again, people from the travelling community that I can look back on after my service and say, well, they're now friends. and the colleagues that I've worked with, you know, the senior management that I've worked with, plus, you know, the student constables. I love going, doing the training and that with them.
Yeah.
Looking at the new one through, and you know, how long they got to wait for their pensions.
Yeah. Don't mention the pension.
That's the thing. But yeah, I mean, success-wise for me, yeah, it's just I've had a good job. I've had a brilliant career. I've brought up 2 children really on my, you know, basically on my own. I've got 5 beautiful grandchildren, and I want to see them, you know, get on in life and what have you. And I want to be there for them.
Yeah.
To be able to help them out. And I think the only reason I can do that is because I've given 30 years service to Kent Police, and now, you know, and now I am going to reap some of the benefits, because our pension's not bad, is it?
No, it's not bad.
I know we've all paid into it, and we've paid a lot into it, and this is what I always say to people when they go, "Oh, you're going to come out on a good pension." I go, "Yeah, and I've paid into it as well."
Exactly. It's not free.
Yeah, we have. But so I think, yeah, success for me is good career, fantastic family, nice home, which I hope I can hang on to. But if not, I'm never going to be in the gutter, am I?
No.
Yeah, nice home, met lovely people along the way, and just hope I can take all my experience from the police service out there, and hopefully, perhaps, help other people in whatever sector I go into.
Yeah.
With the skills, like you say, that we've learned, which is honesty, integrity, and the rest of it.
I'm sure you will, Tim. I'm sure you will. And actually, and I will say this in particular, if some other female colleagues watch this video, I'm sure they'll get a lot from it as well in terms of what's.
I mean, that's one thing, Rob. I've never wanted promotion. I'm a detective constable, but police constable for the role that I do. But I've never really been interested in wanting promotion. Don't get me wrong, I've got lots of female colleagues that have got promoted, and good luck to them, but it's never been for me. I've loved the roles that I've been in, and I've never wanted to do that progression.
That doesn't make you a better or a worse person either way.
No, that's it. It would have been a better pension, but
it's about choice. It's about and I think family comes into this a lot. It's about where are your priorities when you're younger and you're going through things. And some people have made mistakes, some people haven't. So each to their own in terms of choice. So yeah. Okay, this has been a wonderful interview. It's been really great talking to you tonight, and it'd be good to meet you in person one day as well, because I do venture over your way every now and then.
So I mean, if you are down in Kent, let us know. Come over and meet my boys, as I call them. They're all my babies at work. They get so embarrassed when I call them my boys, but they are my boys. I love every one of them. No,
that'd be good. That'd be good. And anyways, please stay in touch with us on our Facebook.
Yes, I will.
That's a closed site for ex-police anyway. Be a member, and you'll see us on there all the time.
Yeah,
and I'll really be interested as to what job you eventually go to in November. And as you say, help and advice will always be on Leaving the Police website. So we're always going to be there for you if you need it.
And if you have any females that come on here that need to speak to anybody, I'm more than willing.
Fantastic, Kim. That's really, really good. Thanks for that offer as well. It's been great talking tonight. I will unrecord us. But thanks so much.
That's all right. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
That's okay.